Happy Bookmas! It is... I don't even know what day of Bookmas this is going to post, so... Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather. Today we're going to talk about a broad, generalized overview of anticipated reading plans for my 2024 year. This is going to be different than the roadmap. This is going to be more in-depth than the roadmap video, which I will link down below, but not in-depth for genres. Just a broad, glossy overview of where the reading year is going to go. So, I'm going to be reading a lot of series. I have a bunch of big chunker series that I want to get through this year. I have a bunch of books. My brain is saying, Tammy, please sit down and stop ignoring me and read me. And so that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be one of those years where if you are a viewer who likes one particular genre and only that genre, this is just going to irritate you beyond words, and I apologize for that, but that's how life goes. And I have to be true to Tammy, so, you know, that's what we're going to go with. So, this year, in 2024, I have 2 Arthurian series I want to read. One of which I own the complete series. The other one I am still tracking down parts of the series. And I will do that as the year progresses. So I'm only going to show the first book in any series that I pull for this video. So the first series is the Warlord series by Bernard Cornwell. And the first book is The Winter King. This is his retelling of the legend of Arthur. I know that this has been made into a miniseries on MGM or Paramount. I can't remember which one. I have not watched the miniseries. I want to read the books first. And I am so looking forward to experiencing the different retellings and how each author takes that retelling and puts their own spin on the story and the myth and the legend and the historical figure, and I am so looking forward to it. So the next series is the Pendragon Cycle by Stephen R. Lawhead, and the first book is Tellison. This is being made into a miniseries by the Daily Wire. It is currently being filmed. This is you've heard me talk about this before. These are all the books in the series. Merlin is very hard to come by, so I'm constantly on the lookout for it. And this is one of those books that my brain is just like, please read, stop what you're doing and go pick that one up. Lawhead has a beautiful, lyrical writing style that I fell in love with in the first book in the Bright Empire series, which I need to continue too. So I cannot wait to dive into this. So those are the 2 Arthurians that I currently own. If I find a good copy at the library, I will pick up Le Morte d'Arthur, which is the original telling. You know, there are just a vast number of Arthurian series out there. I'm not going to read them all, obviously, because I would get incredibly bored. But I at least want to read those 2 series in particular. So the next series up for the year is the Pillars of the Earth series, and you've heard me talk about this a lot lately. The first book in that series is The Evening and the Morning. It's by Ken Follett. This is the prequel novel. I have the rest of the series except for the most recently released series or book in the series on my shelf waiting for me, and I am looking forward to this romp through English history. I really truly am. And it will be a nice complement for the Arthurian books. This takes place this one in particular takes place in the Viking era, so it's, they will all flow nicely together, which is very much what I am looking forward to. And then the next series, I only have the first book, see if I like it, that I am very interested in, is Neuromancer by William Gibson. This is science fiction. It is cyberpunk science fiction. It is the book that is the, I don't want to say gold standard, but it's the one that defines the genre. It's the one that created the genre. And I am interested. I am very interested. Dave is currently playing the Cyberpunk 2077. I don't really like shooters, so I'm not playing it, and I have a 2077 book on my Kindle, so I am looking forward to reading this book, and if I enjoy it, I will get the next 2 in the series and round out the series. And then this is going to be the year of Tolkien. I tried to read The Hobbit. I read The Hobbit this year. I tried to read The Hobbit when I was wee. And it didn't work for me. Of course, The Wind in the Willows didn't work for me either. I did not enjoy fantasy at that age. I enjoyed Alice in Wonderland, but that was about it. And so I didn't read The Hobbit until this year. And I haven't read any other Tolkien. When the Lord of the Rings movies came out, Dave loved them. They didn't do anything for me. So I think my brain is at a point where it is willing to read them and desirous of reading them. And so, the year of Tolkien. And I am starting off with a Silmarillion. And I have started this. This is one of those books I have to read when it is quiet in my house. Because this is I don't want to say dense, but it is filled with the lore and the history and the backstory that I think I was always missing for the movies and when I read The Hobbit and when I played the Lord of the Rings MMO. So I am very interested, and this book is filled with just beautiful illustrations throughout. And so it is unlikely I will pick this up January 1st, but it is very likely I will pick this up the first day of the year that Dave goes into the office. I believe I'm on chapter 3. So I'm on page 36. And then I will progress The Lord of the Rings. I have Barian and Luthien on my shelf. I believe I haven't picked it up yet. I will probably try to reread The Hobbit. I'm looking forward to it, and I think that's the first time I've looked forward to a Tolkien read. So, and I have The Inklings. It's not The Inklings is the nonfiction book about Tolkien and Lewis and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. So next up is the Burning Blade and Silver Eyes series from Django Wexler. I have all 3 of the books in the series. This is fantasy. And they're all about this length. And I love a good high fantasy system, and I've heard nothing but good things about this series. I'm looking forward to it. It will be a palate cleanser between, romances and historical fictions and, Arthurian retellings. So, who doesn't love a good action-packed high fantasy book that reads quickly? And this, I've read the first couple of chapters and it reads quickly, so I'm here for it. I'm very, very here for it. And the next series I want to read next year is, I grabbed book 3. Hang on. All right, book 1. Oops. Okay. This would be book 1. Is Veiled in Smoke by Jocelyn Green. This is the first book in the Windy City saga. And this is Christian historical fiction. I will read you the back for this one. The flames took so much. She can't lose her father as well. Meg Townsend and her sister Sylvie seek a quiet existence managing the family bookshop. Meg feels responsible for caring for their father, Stephen, whose spirit and health are both damaged from his time as a prisoner during the Civil War. Her one hope is the paintings she creates and sells in the bookshop. Then the Great Fire sweeps through Chicago's business district. The fiery explosions and chaos stir up memories of war for Stephen as he runs from the blaze and becomes separated from his daughters. Days later, when the smoke is cleared, Meg and Sylvie manage to reunite with him. Their home and shop are lost, and what's left among the ashes may be even more threatening than the flames, for they learn that a close friend was murdered the night of the fire, and Stephen has been charged with the crime. After he is committed to the Cook County Insane Asylum, where they cannot visit him, Stephen feels as lost to them as the shop that now lies in rubble. Though homeless and suddenly unemployed, Meg must not only gather the pieces of her shattered life, but prove the truth of what happened that night before the asylum truly drives her father mad. I am so interested in this series. I love the fact that it's set in the Midwest. All 3 books are set in the Midwest. I love that it's set in this, post-Civil War era. So I am looking forward to this series immensely. All right. Next series, and this is loosely a series, is the first book is My Heart is a Compass by Sarah Ferguson. It's another nice big thick one. First of all, the cover is gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and it's about a woman who is true to herself and steps outside of what society expects her to do and just does her own thing. And I am so looking forward to reading this book. I have the second one. It's on my shelf behind me. So hopefully it's as wonderful as I believe it's going to be. Okay, now for a couple of non-series, but books I'm very much drawn to. The first one would be Queen by Right by Anne Easter Smith. I recently talked about this book. I love me a good historical, political drama intrigue. And this is going to be that. And I hope I love her writing because she has a back catalog filled with books like this. So yeah. Yeah, it's high on my list. So the next book on my list, which is definitely not a series, is The First Princess by Karen Harper. And The First Princess of Wales. Of Wales would be an important point. And I love Karen Harper's writing. If you have not read The Queen's Governess, I have loaned out my copy. The Queen's Governess is one of the best historical fiction books I have ever read. It tells the fictionalized true life account of the actual governess of Queen Elizabeth I. And it is fabulous. I don't know anyone who has picked up that book and not fallen in love with it in every respect. So I highly recommend that book. Okay, so next up is this wee little book called The Blazing World by Margaret Cavendish. And this is the first science fiction book ever published. It was published in 1666. And it was written by a woman. And I am so intrigued by this. Just flipping through it as I talk, it's going to be a, even though it's tiny, it's going to be a sit down and concentrate book, and I'm okay with that. It is a whopping 136 pages, so had it been written in modern day, easy couple hour read for me at most. This may still be, 3 or 4 hour read, but we shall see. I am so intrigued by this book. It's time will tell. So next up are two classics. First up would be Frankenstein, the 1818 text by Mary Shelley. And I picked this one up. I don't remember reading Frankenstein in school. And I think it's because Sister Rosemary didn't really enjoy this type of literature. But I have put a picture of it right here. What's it called? Unnatural Creatures, which is related to Frankenstein. It's a modern book. It's on my Kindle. So I figured I should read Frankenstein before I read Unnatural Creatures. And it's not like Frankenstein's a very long, prosaic book. It's 256 pages, and that includes, letters and other reference material at the end, the bibliography, timeline, a whole, and plus all the introductory notes at the beginning. So this is not by any means going to be a taxing read. So, but I'm looking forward to it. And that leads us to what is currently the last classic I am anticipating reading this year, even though by the time this video comes out, they will have been received and stored. I did just order a bunch of classics from Calavets for on their closeout sale. I ordered Dickens and Austen and Bronte sisters and etc. So, but that would be The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I don't remember ever reading this. This one, however, is chunky. It is 1965 pages of classic text. However, I've heard it reads well. So, if it does, then it's going to be the year of reading this one. This was a gift from Dave. And this is a Barnes & Noble edition, so it is a beautiful cover. Okay, so that is a broad, generalized glimpse into what I plan to read in 2024. I don't know when I plan to read these books in particular. I don't have them assigned. It is pretty much how I feel in a particular moment. I will pick up a book. I think the only thing I know I'm starting the year off with is an Arthurian and the Similarian. So, other than that, everything is, hey, Brain wants to read this, go read that. So, there's a glimpse into 2024. Do you have 2024 plans? Please leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe. Go enjoy the holidays. And I will see you here for the next Bookmas video.